Yello Lawkers, welcome back to another video with me, Larissa. So today I thought I would take you through all the books that I read in 2020. I am an avid reader. I love reading so much. Unfortunately for me, I didn't read as much as I would have liked to this year. I still read, what was it? 13 or 14 books, we'll find out, which is pretty good. I just had a bunch of other stuff happening, like with school and exam prep and all of that jazz. So with that being said, a lot of books came out this year, and also one of my friends gave me like 6 or 7 books to read, and I loved them. So I wish I could be like, this is going to be a critical review of all the books that I read, but it's not, because I really enjoyed all of them. So I don't know, go on to Goodreads and read the synopsis. I'll try and remember what all of it was about, but I'm not going to rate them, because it's literally just going to be like my my supplement video, like, this is really great, literally over and over and over again. I just love books so much. Anyway, let's get into it. So I have a mix of physical books and digital books. I read my digital books on my Kindle. I think I got this Kindle a long time ago. I love it, so great. I also use the app called Libby, which connects to your local library and lets you rent books for free digitally. And they're free, like I said, so it's a fantastic app. Sometimes though, you get put on like a waiting list, but there's 1,000 other books to do. Or I buy them off of Amazon because of who I am as a person. Let's get into it. So the first book that I'm going to tell you about is The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Like, obviously everybody I feel like has read that book, or it's always been on a list. I really liked it. Again, I did get it digitally. Good advice, especially for an anxious attachment style like mine. But compared with the second book I'm going to talk about is the Why Men Love Bitches. They are both written so similarly, whereas the Why Men Love Bitches is more like relationship and like how to get a guy, but not really. I don't know, it just pretty much tells you how to chill, kind of like The Subtle Art does. I read them back to back, and they are so similarly written in like that list format too. It correlated really well, and the messages were very similar. So I thought that was really cool. I really enjoyed that, and I'm happy I read them back to back like that, because it kind of allowed me to still remain in that headspace. The next one is Atomic Habits. So have to be honest with you, I almost finished this book, and I left it at my parents' house place. So I never finished it, but I was super close to finishing it. So I am going to bring this one with me to Utah and probably reread it. It is one of these books that you can reread over and over and pick something up and just kind of reinstate and reinforce a lot of stuff. So Atomic Habits, loved it. Again. Next up is a fiction book, and it's called One to Watch. It's about a plus-size blogger who wants to change the way like the Bachelorette is done. I don't know what the fiction version is called, but if you like the Bachelor, Bachelorette, you might enjoy this. I don't watch either Bachelor or Bachelorette, but I enjoy the premise. So it was okay. I wouldn't, like, the reviews that I got from it were like, this book is fantastic, and it was really good. It wasn't my favorite, if that, I don't know. I think I just like took on so much praise from it and like so many good reviews that it was hyped up too much for me. But I did enjoy it. It was like a cute little read, and it addressed a lot of societal pressures for females especially. And from what I heard from the reviews, that it was very well done, similar to like how the Bachelor and Bachelorette are created, which again, I don't watch either, but that's what I imagine. Like, I enjoyed that aspect, like the behind the scenes of what that world is like. Next up is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. This one came out this year by Suzanne Collins. It's a prequel to The Hunger Games, y'all. And I still have the stickers on it. I should take those off. Anyway, loved it. It goes through kind of the first few times of the Hunger Games with President Snow before he was President Snow, so it's kind of his like 17 or 18-year-old self, and how he changed the games in like his, I don't know, just kind of making the Hunger Games more of a spectacle than they previously were. It was really, really good. I loved it. I couldn't put it down. I highly recommend this one, especially if you love the Hunger Games. I really enjoyed it. It's also like humanizing the villain of the Hunger Games too. Like it's fantastic. So well written. I enjoyed it. So sticking with that theme, let's go into Midnight Sun by Stephanie Meyer. Yes, I'm a Twilight girl. I'm a Twihard. I loved the Twilight series, like the books. I read them before they were, it's like an OG. I read them before they were popular. I pretty much, I think, started the Twilight trend because I would tell everybody and their mother to read Twilight when it first came out. Midnight Sun, it's Twilight written in Edward's perspective, and she originally was gonna release this years ago, and somebody like leaked the first few chapters or majority of the book before it was ready, and she was just like, nope, not gonna release it anymore. And I was so sad because I was really looking forward to that. So Stephanie Meyer finally, after so many years, released Midnight Sun, and worth it. So worth it. I loved it so much. Like, it was really great to read in Edward's perspective. All right, next up was The Emotion Code. This is another one I didn't finish, and I read it digitally, and that was my mistake. I'm going to go and physically buy the book. It's kind of like a woo-woo thing. It's a nonfiction book, kind of like a self-development book, but like not, I don't know. Anyway, it deals with muscle testing theory and how emotions can block and present itself as in pain. And it's just kind of going over how to correct that. A few of the docs that I know really like it, and it's kind of like applied kinesiology, if anybody knows what that is, where they like put a certain supplement on your chest and see if you have like an intolerance to it using muscle testing again. So again, it's very much out there in the woo-woo category, but I like to explore all different options and see what resonates with me. So I'm not opposed to like reading about the woo-woo stuff along with the more research-based aspects. Next up is another fiction one. It's called The One. I loved it. Okay, I know I'm saying that I love all of these, but The One, so great. It was so good. It's about, in a different society, one woman found replication or DNA sequence that determines who your soulmate is. And you just take like a swab test, you mail it in, and if your soulmate has also taken the swab test and mailed theirs in, you're matched. It was so great. It follows like a handful of people, I want to say 5 or 6 people, and like their process of finding the one and how the difficulties of it, such as families are broken up, a boyfriend and girlfriend split because they aren't matched, and also there's like a twist as well, and it's fantastic. Read that one. And so like, yeah, it's a love story, but it's also kind of like a mystery, but it's also kind of like, I don't know. It's fantastic. Please read it. Okay, next up is The Roommate. The Roommate goes on to this really like uppity New York, what are they called? Society person? I don't remember what they're called. Anyway, she moves to LA and is moving in with a guy she's simping so hard for, and that who's in a band, and he actually has to go on tour, so he pretty much picks her up from the airport and is like, all right, peace out. Also, I'm renting the place to somebody else as well. And she's like, what? And the dude that she ends her roommate now is like a porn star. And they kind of just develop a friendship, and then they end up developing a business. It's cute. I giggled at a few spots. It's adorable. It's a cute little love story. So next up, Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. And it's John Green. Yes, I enjoyed this one. It's heavy in the fact that the main character has OCD tendencies and is battling with depression and self-harm. So that's like a little trigger warning. It was really cute. It was like young adult-esque stuff. It had a little bit of a mystery as well, and a little love story, and yeah, I enjoyed it, but it was pretty heavy. So next up, finally, is a Neighbor from Hell series. So this one is by R.L. Matthewson, and this is like my guilty pleasure. I love the Neighbor from Hell series. Like, it is trashy romance, and like every story is pretty much the same, and every character is pretty much the same. But I love it. I have reread these books so many times and absolutely adore this series. It is so good. If you really like trashy romance, I recommend that whole series, Neighbor from Hell, from R.L. Matthewson. And like the characters intertwine. Like they're independent books, but some of the characters from the previous books come linked in, or the books that are going to be written in the future. So they're all kind of intertwined, but it's not like the main story arc. You could definitely read any of the books out of order. Then I have Normal People again. I am 100% going to go buy that one. I read it digitally, and I will go and get that physically as well. I just wanted it digitally so then I could take it to Utah with me so I could reread it again. I watched the show on Hulu first and watched it immediately again after. That is one of my top 5 favorite shows, Normal People, and it was based off of the novel Normal People by Sally Rooney. Loved it so much. Again, young adult coming of age story, 2 people where they love each other so much, but they just keep, like, the timing isn't there, but they just keep circling around. It's beautifully written, and the show complements it so well. I recommend both that book and the show. Next up is A Man Called Ove. So we're getting into the books that my friend gave me. And A Man Called Ove. So good, by Frederick Bachman. I loved it. I laughed, I cried. Yes. Big recommend. So amazing. A little backstory of Ove. Ove is a grumpy man living in this little neighborhood, and he likes his little routines, and he's a very stoic man. And just a bunch of things happen. There's like a cat that's involved, new neighbors move in, and the woman neighbor, she's pregnant, but she also has like 2 other children with her husband, and they're just like a really funny family. And she pretty much like inserts herself into Ove's life, and you know, it's very heartwarming. It is definitely a heartwarming story, and Ove is just so funny. He's just a grumpy old man. It's so cute. I also watched the movie after I read it, and the movie is in Swedish, but there's there's English subtitles, and yeah, I highly enjoyed it. I usually don't like reading subtitles, but it was worth it. It was very well done. There were a few things that were missing, but I enjoyed it overall. Okay, next up was The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. It follows by Mark Haddon. It follows, it never says if he's autistic, but it is implied, I believe. So it follows an autistic child, and he is trying to solve the mystery of who murdered the dog. And that's how it opens up pretty much. And then a bunch of other things happen, like he was told his mother dies, and he's just kind of like going through life with his dad, and then a bunch of things happen and he finds out a bunch of stuff. So this is a very, very good one as well. Then I read Fahrenheit 451. I have not watched the show or the film on HBO yet, so I don't know how it compares to that. Pretty much a dystopian world where reading is forbidden, which would be my nightmare. And the firefighters don't put out fires, they start the fires of people who own books, and pretty much the main character, he starts to question whether that is right or not. It's a different style of writing, I will say that. I had to like reread a couple of passages because it wasn't absorbing correctly the way the author wanted it to write. Maybe I was just super tired when I was reading it, I don't know. But it is definitely a different style of writing. Moving on, The Art of Racing in the Rain. I have not watched this movie yet because I want to, but I don't want to be sad. But I loved the book. It was so beautiful. Yeah, Garth Stein, you nailed it. It follows a dog and how the dog, his dad wants to be a racer, or his dad is a racer, and the dog wants to be a racer too. He's like a race dog, and follows through him and the family and like the ups and downs of what happens. Here's the description. A heart-wrenching but deeply funny and ultimately uplifting story of family, love, loyalty, and hope. A captivating look at the wonders and absurdities of human life as only a dog could tell. The ending was worth it. Oh my gosh, the ending was so good. I loved it. Alright, last book is Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close. It follows an autistic child, Oscar. Well, I shouldn't say that. He is, I believe, on the spectrum. It never says it, but it implies it quite a bit. And it follows him and his grandfather and his grandmother. Oscar is on a mission to find what this key unlocks that his father had hidden, because his father would always put him on like scavenger hunts, and his father passed in 9/11. Like, he was in the Twin Towers when they collapsed. It is very, very heart-wrenching. I just finished this last night, so it's still kind of fresh. It's a quick read because there's like pictures in it. Some pages like only have a sentence on it or something, so it's a very quick read. It's very beautifully written. It's written very differently, I think. Very good. The ending, so one of the things Oscar says in there, like anytime he feels sad or a little depressed, he says heavy boots, and that his boots are heavy. I would say that the ending gave me some heavy boots, that's for sure. That is like the best description for it. It's like, it's very heartwarming, but leave reading it a little heavy. Those are the books I believe that I may have read like one or two more, I can't remember, but those are the books that I read. I highly suggest putting them on your reading list. I do already have a huge reading list. Let me just, yeah, it's so many books to read. I also have them all on Goodreads. I believe that is it for me. If you guys have any book recommendations, put them in the comments below, because I would love to hear them, because as you can see, I don't have enough on my list already. I don't have, on my Goodreads, I think my want to read is only like 107 at this point. We need to get that up. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell so you're notified when I upload new videos. Follow me on Instagram, where I always post what I'm reading or what I've read, and I always have it under my books highlight on my main page. Remember to respect others, respect yourself, and do something amazing with your day. Okay, thanks. Bye.